home the best highlights just for you. Red always approves of the show, so celebrate the two baggers and all the goals. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And the season's definitely winding down.
Yeah, we are into section tournament time for at least one sport. Yep. Section tournament or two coming up later this week for Cardinal athletes as well. We've got softball wrapped up their regular season last week, baseball wrapping up its regular season this week, boys and girls lacrosse both coming to an end this week as well. Well, we're getting close to that time when kids like to say, I've had enough of school, take some time off for summer. The seniors, of course, throwing their caps in the air and heading off. So you got to get everything in before that happens.
And you got to play a little Alice Cooper at the end of the year. School's out for summer.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of games being played this past week. We start with baseball. They were down in New Prague last Monday, and they won 6-3. Antonio Manos went 2 for 2 with 2 doubles and an RBI. Jimmy Brenda was 2 for 3. He also had a double, drove in 2. Ryan Garlick a triple and 2 runs scored. Ian Wynn went 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Jack Olikowski got the victory in 5 innings, gave up just 1 run with no walks and 6 strikeouts. Then on Tuesday, the Cardinals come up just short against Elk River, losing 6-5 to the Elks. Ian Wynn went 2 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Jimmy Brenda, another multi-hit day, 2 for 3, a double, a walk, 2 RBI and a run scored. Xander Parr and Braden Farley, each 2 for 4. And Braden Farley, unfortunately, although he threw relatively well, took the loss. You notice 6 runs given up, only 3 of them earned. And that has kind of been the Cardinals' Achilles heel all season.
It really has. Defense, and typically you don't think their defense is going to give up opportunities, but certainly that their defense, unfortunately, has done so, and that's when it comes to section time. That's the biggest area, I think, of this team they need to be cleaned up.
Well, and I think that's something that might actually give the Cardinals a little bit of a head up. If it weren't for those unfortunate bobbles and misplays, they might be a top seed looking into the section tournament. So maybe they're a team that surprises teams because they are able to clean that up when the games count a little bit more.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Well, the Cardinals were looking to bounce back. Looking for a bounce-back game Thursday with a trip to face another struggling squad in Park Center. The Pirates were just 3-13 coming into the game. It was a great opportunity for the Cardinals. Unfortunately, they dug themselves a big hole early, and they couldn't quite get back out. Sloppy defense by the Cardinals helped Park Center jump to the lead early. Sam Kill with a single to left. Trey Stork will score from second, and the Pirates lead 2-0 after the first. They add to their lead with another 2-out rally in the second. Jackson Dwyer with a flare to right. Tanner Stein scores easily. Zach Poppy is going to slide in before the tag. A 2-run single doubles the Pirates' lead, and they weren't done. Still 2 out and 2 on in the second. Riley Peterson launches one to left. A 3-run home run takes Park Center to a 7-run lead. Brandon Strauss didn't make it out of the second inning. Gave up 7 runs, but only 2 of those were earned. Cardinals get on the board in the top of the third. Back-to-back triples with 2 outs. Ryan Garlick with a shot to deep to the gap in right center. Xander Parr scores. Still, it's 7-1. Next batter is Alec Lehman. And this is called the seeing eye. Straight down the third base line. Great shot down the line. Garlick will trot home. Still 5-run deficit. Fast forward to the 6th. Jimmy Brenda with another big 2-out hit for the Cardinals. He hammers it to left over the head of Poppy. Jack Arndt and Ian Wynn will score. Brenda will slide in safely with the Cardinals' 3rd triple of the ball game. They tried to rally again in the 7th, but fall short, and they lose this one 8-6. And those are the kind of games, Howie, you look at on the schedule and you go, these are the games we have to win.
Well, you dig yourself in a hole, and that's what makes it difficult. They came back and scored 6 runs, but unfortunately they just couldn't get over the hump. By the way, is that Big Poppy, by the way?
He didn't look that big to me, but that's 5 unearned runs and a 2-run loss.
That's tough. That's tough.
Well, they closed it out with a very busy week. They were supposed to have senior day on Saturday, but it was rained out. They're at St. Louis Park tonight taking on the Orioles. They host Osseo on Tuesday, at Shakopee on Wednesday, and then they're over at Wintercrest on Thursday night to host Roseville, and that will be senior night, and that will close out the regular season. all, of course, weather permitting.
Well, and that's the big key this week is weather permitting. Today, if you're watching this live, it's Monday. Tuesday supposedly is going to rain most of the day. We'll see if they get that in, and we'll see how the rest of the week unfolds.
Well, the softball team, as we told you about last week on Sports Night, they beat Champlin. They had back-to-back wins in the doubleheader. They kept it rolling this week, and they are getting on a tear headed towards sections. Started on Monday with a win over Henry Sibley, 7-2. Meg Scheck has been on fire all week long. She went 3 for 3 with a double, a home run, an RBI, 3 runs scored. Sam Lom was 3 for 4 with a stolen base. Cam Schmelzer 2 for 3 with a couple of RBI. Abby Graham 2 for 4. Jaden Gale 1 for 1. Elia Johnson gets the win. Went the distance, gave up just 2 hits and 2 runs with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. They played every day last week. On Tuesday, they just hammered Spring Lake Park 14-1 in 5 innings. Meg Scheck, another big day, 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 4 RBI, 2 runs scored. Elia Johnson hit the round trip this time, went 2 for 3, a couple RBIs, 3 runs scored. Leah Numala, perfect at the plate, 3 for 3 with a double and a walk. Abby Graham, 2 for 4 with a couple RBIs. Sam Lom got the win in 4 innings, gave up just 3 hits and 1 run, had a couple of strikeouts. On Wednesday, the Cardinals beat Armstrong 14-3. I think this is the one that they had an 11-run inning. It was either this one or it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. They had 11 runs in 1 inning. They beat up on Armstrong 14-3. 3 home runs. Jaden Gale went 1 for 2 with a round trip. Meg Scheck hit another. She was 1 for 2 with a couple RBI. Elia Johnson also had a home run. Sid Kerr went 2 for 4 with a double, 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. Elia Johnson picks up another win in the circle.
Great time to be scoring these types of runs, these kind of games as we get to section time. I mean, their offense is hitting on all cylinders.
Absolutely. Not quite the offensive explosion we saw last year all season long, but to do it even in a small amount through the end of the season is a good time to get going.
Well, no question the Cardinals already on a tear as they headed to Park Center on Thursday, looking to keep it rolling against the Pirates. 6 wins in 7 days and 14 runs each of their last 2 games. Things all seem to be coming together for the Cards during the final stretch of the regular season. They weren't going to let the Pirates hijack their momentum. Pick up the action late. Cardinals already up big. Sam Lom got the start and the win, going 4 1/3 innings to giving up 2 runs with 4 walks and 5 strikeouts. Cardinals scored 8 runs in the first 3 innings. They pushed 1 more across in the 6th. Elia Johnson grounds out to short. Leah Numala scores to make it 10-2. Becca Masteller finished the game in the circle, giving up 1 run and 2 in the 3rd. Cardinals make it 7 straight with the 10-3 win. Again, double-digit runs give them that win, and they played well.
Well, the Cardinals were red hot going into Friday night's regular season finale, but so were their opponents. St. Francis was riding a 9-game win streak over the previous 2 weeks, and they'd scored 10 or more in 4 of those games. So 2 teams putting up big numbers and battling for seeding position in Section 7 would make for an interesting night at Sand Creek. Saints get the scoring started right away. Second batter of the game is Aubrey Terrace, and she was on a tear all game long. She hits a high fly to right center. Wind carries it, and center fielder Sam Lom right over the fence. Takes St. Francis to the early lead. They put up 3 in the first. They had 2 more in the second. Emily Sorrell with a 2-out single to left, bobbled a little in the outfield. Sydney Green scores. It's 5-1 Saints. Another crooked number put up in the 5th. Terrace, again, she was 5 for 5 in the game. This one is a single back through the middle, but 2 more runs will score. Saints ran the lead to 11-2 going to the bottom of the 7th. And that's when the Cardinals rallied. Elia Johnson with a sharp single through the right side or the left side, one of their 8 hits in the 7th inning. Lom scores. It's 11-5. Next batter is Meg Scheck. She's had the hot bat all week, and she unloads the bases with a shot to left. A no-doubt grand slam off the bat. Her team leading 4th home run of the season, and all of a sudden we've got a 2-run ball game with nobody out. Cardinals able to get the tying run to second. Sam Lom coming to the plate. She was 4 for 4 coming into this at bat, but she can't make it 5 for 5. Grounds out to second, and the Cardinals rally falls just short, ending their win streak with an 11-9 loss. It looked like this one might be a 10-run game. They might end this one early, and then the 7th inning, they started with a player in her first at bat all season long, a senior, her final game. So they gave her a chance. She led off, got on base by an error. And next thing you know, the Cardinals had like 6 straight hits right after her, including the grand slam. It was all of a sudden a lot of fun to watch in that 7th inning. It made for a wild finish, and what do you know? We're going to see these two teams face off again.
It'll be interesting. A little revenge. You know, 9 wins typically should win a softball game, but when you dig yourself into the hole, similar to the baseball squad, you dig yourself into that big hole, it's tough to dig out. Give them credit because they almost did.
Yeah, well, and it was, we knew coming in it was 2 teams that could really put big numbers on the boards. Both were putting up big digits, double digits in a lot of their recent games. One on a 9-game win streak, one on a 7-game win streak. Could go either way, but then all game long, the St. Francis pitcher kept Coon Rapids off the bases and really off balance all game until that 7th, and then they really got to her, and they made it exciting at the end. And that is going to be the matchup for the first round of the section tournament. The St. Francis Saints getting the number 4 seed. The Coon Rapids Cardinals, the number 5 seed. So the Cardinals will have to travel to St. Francis and have a little rematch to see who moves on.
With a little revenge in their mouths.
The tennis team started its section tournament last week. They were the number 10 seed. They lost to number 7, Chisago, 7-0. Sam Murillo in second singles lost 3-6, 4-6. Liam Speltz at fourth singles took it to 3 sets, but still came up empty. He won that first set 7-5 and then lost 1-6 and 10-7. So the Cardinals, unfortunately, done as a team. The individual tournament was rained out the end of last week, so they will start the individual tournament this week, and we'll have those results for you next week on Sportsnight.
Tough season for the tennis squad. This really couldn't get over the hump. Didn't get, I'm sure, the kind of production that Coach Stork wanted from his squad, and now we'll see what they can do. Well,
it's just a very young team.
It is
a learning season. Hopefully they come back stronger, more experienced next year, to be certain. The track and field teams had an event last week, tri-meet with Centennial and Blaine, but that was not scored. So just a final tune-up for this week's Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. They will be held Tuesday and Thursday at Maple Grove. Section tournament is next week at Hamlin. Boys golf team last week at Victory Links against the Northwest Suburban Conference teams. Carter Heeman leading the way with a 41 and a 39 to shoot an 80. That's a solid round. Connor Wise not far off that pace with an 83. Drew Erickson shot a 94. Jason Klebeck and Ben Roberstad both shot 103 for the day. Cardinals finish in 13th place. Just today they were at Loggers Trail. This is the last chance, last time around for Northwest Suburban Conference. They've got the tournament coming up on Thursday at Bunker. Connor Wise, great round, 42, 42, 84 for the day. Carter Heeman, an 88, but nobody else able to break under the century mark. Drew Erickson, a 101, Jake Van Holzen, a 102, Klebeck, a 111, and Roberstad, a 116. So Northwest Suburban Conference Championships at Bunker on Thursday, and the section tournament back at Bunker next week. So at least they have the home course advantage, but a lot of work to do. You know, this is a team that, you know, they've shown some improvements. We talked about it last week on Sportsnight, a 32-stroke improvement as a team in that one round. That was really good. It's nice to see Carter Heeman and Connor Wise really putting up consistently decent numbers. You'd love to have some guys dip down into the 70s, but even if you could get 4 guys into the 80s on a consistent basis, you're going to have a more competitive team and have a chance to move up in the rankings. But if you only get 2 in the 80s and then there's a 20-stroke gap between your next guy, it makes it hard to compete.
It really does, and consistency is the key here. And obviously, you're having a couple of golfers play pretty well, but you need to be more consistent, as you mentioned. You need to get 2 or at least a couple other guys shooting less than 100, and hopefully you need get those numbers.
More depth, definitely. Well, the girls golf team put up its best round of the season last week against Anoka. Got to the 200 mark, but not quite enough. They come up 1 stroke short against the Tornadoes, losing to Anoka's 199. Natalie Whitney leading the way with a 45. Anna Bezcalo had a 50. Severson shot a 52. Kate Garbo a 53. Noah 53 as well. And Katie Goldman shot a 56. Girls were at North Fork for a tournament today. Did not get those scores in time for the show, so we'll have those for you next week on Sports Night. Upcoming this week, the Northwest Suburban Conference Championship is tomorrow at Bunker, and then they are at Majestic Invite on Thursday, and then section tournament is next week, and their section tournament is also out at North Fork. So today's event, kind of a good primer for next week's section tournament. Boys lacrosse team busy trying to get in the remaining games and trying to compete. Champlain Park, they came close. They kept them from really running away from them, at least, losing 11-6. Tommy Carl's factoring into all 6 goals for the Cardinals, a goal and 5 assists. Tommy Carl's netted a couple, as did Flamand. And Harry Koval also had a goal. Hausker made 14 saves in the loss.
Well, the Cardinals are hoping they could get things turned around Wednesday night, facing off against another struggling team. The Anoka Tornadoes were just 2-6 and were coming off a 12-0 defeat by Blaine. Both teams have struggled to score against the top teams, so this was an opportunity for the Cardinals to hopefully get a win and gain some confidence. Tight game in the first quarter. Cardinals on the attack. Tommy Carl plays it across to Preston Morissette. He buries it. Anoka up 2-1 after 1. But the Tornadoes stormed to a big lead through the second and third quarters. Kyle Comerford scores to give Anoka a 5-1 lead. They're up 7-1 at the half and 11-1 after 3. Cards down, but not to fold. They attempt a big comeback in the fourth. Nice swim move from A.J. Carls to find room and score. He had 2 goals and an assist. Then it's Carl's brothers connecting, give and go. Tommy to A.J., back to Tommy with room for the shot. Still a big deficit, down 8 in the fourth. Now Cardinals keep coming. They find Tommy with room again. He turns and scores. Tommy had 2 goals and 2 assists, but the hole was just too big. The Tornadoes able to control the ball and the scoreboard throughout this contest. Mason McCardle shoots low for a goal in the fourth. Anoka goes on for the 14-5 victory.
Well, we talk about it so often in every sport. You know, very few Cardinal teams are built to be a come-from-behind team. Correct. From a big deficit. If you allow yourself to fall behind big early, it just makes it so much more difficult to find victories. They certainly played with them in that fourth quarter, but because of the way the second, third quarters went, they really had little chance to come all the way back.
Always tough to play from behind, but they felt that they had that opportunity against Anoka, whose record at 2-6 coming into this game. They thought they had an opportunity. Unfortunately, you're right. Getting behind big, it makes it difficult to dig out.
Well, 3 games last week, all against teams that are essentially beatable. They're not the elite teams in the conference. They stay close relatively with Champlain. Let Anoka get away from them a little bit on Wednesday before trying to come back, and then on Friday they played Armstrong, and it's another tight game. They lose that one 12-8. Their record drops to 1-10, but it's one that they didn't let that team run away from them. But those are the teams that at the beginning of the season and even through the middle of the season, you're looking at that week going, these are 3 teams that we should be able to compete well against. Got to try and get 1, maybe 2 victories. 3 would be great, but if you could get 1 or 2 would be nice, and the Cardinals come up empty. Cardinals are at North St. Paul on Tuesday and at Osseo Park Center on Thursday to close out the regular season. Girls lacrosse also started with Champlain. They lose this one 16-6. 2 goals for Emma Bolin. Rowan Tom had a goal and an assist. Nelson had a goal, and so did Mackenzie Molenkamp. Well, Monday's loss came against one of the top teams in the conference. Their game on Wednesday put the Cardinals up against another team in the middle of the standings. The Anoka Tornadoes were coming off of a 1-goal win over Duluth on Friday. Both teams had 3 wins, 2 against conference opponents, and both beat Duluth. A win would help the Cardinals leap over Anoka in the standing. Cardinals get the start they wanted. Kennedy Bolander drawing defenders and finding Ava Johnston cutting to the front. Coon Rapids on the board first. This game stays close throughout, but especially in the first half. Great individual effort by Grace Anula, getting herself out front, scoring on the jump hook. Cards keeping themselves out front early. But Anoka's offensive pressure turned this game around. Sarah Roof able to knock Naomi Griffith off the ball, then Roof scoops, goes in on the breakaway for the goal. Start of a big game for her. Anoka with possession in the Cardinals' end. Nice little spin move by Roof to get herself behind the defense. She nets another goal. This one gave the Tornadoes a lead going into the half. Tornadoes bringing more pressure in the second, and it leads to a turnover. Roof able to scoop it up, split the defenders, head to the net again. She scores her 5th goal of the game. Anoka playing with the lead throughout the second half. Cardinals trying to come back. Canula with a good luck to find Griffith with a lane to the net. She scores, but still a 4-goal deficit at that point. It wouldn't get much closer. Tornadoes keep pushing at the other end. Great passing on this play. They find Morgan Schindel at the back door. She gets her 3rd of the night. Anoka hangs on for the 14-11 win.
Well, the Cardinals finished the week with a visit from one of the top teams in the Northwest Suburban. The Elk River Elks were coming off back-to-back wins, including a blowout victory over Irondale on Wednesday. From the start, they were just too much for the Cardinals to handle. The Elks stampeding the Cardinals in the first half, scoring at will. This one in transition, Andy Sokup alone in front makes it 11-0 Elks. The Cardinals defending most of the first half, gets a few chances on offense in the second. Ava Johnson rushing the net, scoring, and finally getting the Cardinals on the board 13-1. Johnston again, this time with a long run down the field, same result. Blows past defenders and buries the shot past the keeper. That's all the Cardinals would get against the Elks. The Elks able to coast down the stretch, but adding to their goal total. Adria Kotzian goes left, scores back, and against the grain, Elk River cruises to a relatively easy 18-2 victory.
Yeah, when you have teams like that in your conference, that's when you know you have to take advantage of the teams like Anoka, teams in the middle, teams that are, the teams that you have a better chance against. You have to take advantage of those opportunities because you know the elite teams in the conference in the section are a step above everybody else. You do what you can to compete with them on those game nights, but you have to find ways to win against the other teams in the middle.
And I think it's so important to get a win this part of the season just before you start your section, because you need that winning feeling and taste in your mouth that we can beat teams, and we've got a victory or two, and that's something that the Cardinals are looking to continue to build on.
Well, and I think both teams have an opportunity to get at least one win in the final week. The girls may have a chance really to get back-to-back wins in the final week. They host Armstrong on Tuesday and Osseo Park Center on Thursday. Both home games, both against teams middle to bottom of the conference that they should have a chance to go out and get some victories, hopefully improve their seeding position.
That's the big thing.
At this point, the Cardinals still, I think, have a chance to get home field for the first round of the playoffs. So at 3-6, things are not certainly out of reach.
Yeah, if get a couple additional victories at the end of the regular season, really, I think will bode well for this squad.
Well, we've got some stuff coming up for you here. We've got boys baseball against Osseo on Tuesday, and then on to next week. That's all we had.
Yeah.
We were going to do the girls lacrosse game on Wednesday, but it was moved to Thursday, and unfortunately we're unable to get crew for a Thursday night shoot. So it's just baseball this week. And Howie, neither you or I will be there.
No, unfortunately.
But hopefully you'll join in.
Herb Carneal.
Herb Carneal. I don't think Herb's coming.
I don't think so either.
I don't think that's going to happen. But Charlie Beatty's going to be there doing the game for us. Charlie does a great job.
Jeremy Smith as well.
Jeremy Smith will be there. Had a great time doing the game with Charlie on Friday night. Two play-by-play guys that were
dueling. Were you dueling play-by-play?
Not so much. He for the most part stayed to do in color, but there were a couple of times he wanted to call big shots. I got the call on the Grand Slam for Meg Scheck.
That's because you're the man,
and that's what really mattered. It was a fun game, and it was great to see a Grand Slam. I haven't seen one
absolutely.
for the home team in a while. So
no question.
And it was no question right off the bat. She's playing really well. Cardinals softball playing really well. Good luck to them in sections this week. Good luck to the tennis teams in their section individual tournament this week. Good luck to the track and field teams in the conference tournament this week. Good luck to the boys and girls golf teams also.
Lots of action
in conference tournaments this week. A lot of tournament action. We'll have all the results and hopefully some video for you next week on Sportsnight. But that's going to do it for this edition. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us to continue to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.